Hello friends, I am Akash Sanjay Khobragade, PhD scholar at Delhi University and coordinator at Karunyakara Institute of Dalit Knowledge. I welcome you all for the third online lecture organized by KIDK. Dalit Knowledge lecture series started on the occasion of Ambedkar Jayanti 2025 organized by KIDK. The founder of our Karunyakara Institute of Dalit Knowledge is Professor Karunyakara sir. He was a founder as well as he was also professor at Mahatma Gandhi Antarashtriya Hindi Vishwavidyalaya, and he was the former head of department of Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Central University Lucknow at Department of History. He books. He published many books, and also he is continuously engaged with Dalit history and Dalit studies. Welcome Professor Karunyakara sir for chairing this session. Also, the important speaker of our today's lecture is we get an opportunity to listen to Professor C. Lakshmanan sir, our speaker of today. I like to call Vijay Kumre to introduce our guest.
Good afternoon, all. I am Vijay Kumre, PhD scholar and coordinator KIDK. It is my great privilege to introduce Professor C. Lakshmanan sir. Professor C. Lakshmanan, former professor at Madras Institute of Development Studies. It is globally reputed social science research institute funded by Indian Council of Social Science, MHRD, and Government of Tamil Nadu. Dr. Lakshmanan studied BA and MA Political Science at MCC 1984 to 1989, Department of Political Science. Later, he did his MPhil and PhD in Center for Political Studies, School of Social Science, Jawaharlal Nehru University, New Delhi. He has been constantly contribute reputed academic journals, economic and political weekly seminar, newspapers, and edited volumes published by Oxford University's Press, such publication. He was jointly awarded by Tamil Nadu Progressive Writers Association for the co-author book Untouchability Among the Untouchables, a case of Puthurai 1 hours live and location 2015. Some is fact-finding reports had cited by the High Court of Madras. Dr. Lakshmanan has been a member of many committees, which includes UGC Expert Committee. He has been doctoral committee member at School of Humanity and Social Sciences, IIT Madras, external member ONGC SC/ST Employees Grievance Committee. He has been visiting faculty at JNU, Delhi University, and Hyderabad Central University and other state universities. Besides, he has been invited as a resource person to international conference on law and society, Puerto Rico, USA, Ambedkar International Mission, New Jersey, USA, and Malaysia. He is also national convener of Dalit Intellectual Collective, which in inclusive forum engaging with Dalit epistemology and emancipatory politics. धन्यवाद.
Thank you, Vijay. It's an honor that C. Lakshmanan sir are going to give a lecture today. I also get an opportunity to attend his session when I was in Chennai for a workshop. So that workshop was very fantastic. His lecture was very fantastic. I welcome both the chair and our guest of today, and I request Professor C. Lakshmanan sir, please enrich our knowledge with his thoughts.
Okay.
Lakshman sir, please welcome.
Jai Bhim and welcome one and all. Thank you for the wonderful opportunity, and particularly Professor Karunyakara. I call him generally as name Kennedy, and also my friends who are young friends who are attending. And thank you for very generous introduction. And
Professor, could you open your video? Actually, it is being
Yes.
recorded.
okay. Yeah, there's a lightning. It was little. Okay, it's okay now.
Yeah. Now it's fantastic. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm very grateful to the opportunity given to me by the Dalit Knowledge Dalit Institute of Knowledge, and also Professor Karunyakara, who was my oldest friend. We both studied in the same college, same institution, Madras Christian College and Jawaharlal Nehru University, and then we had association for a long time. Okay. Today, the discussion which when Karunyakara asked me for sharing or discussing for benefit of a larger younger generation and others. So I thought this would be the more important and appropriate in the contemporary situation. That is Babasaheb Ambedkar perspective on the state, society, and market. This is the title which I'm going to discuss, and my discussion will be. I have no PowerPoint, or I have never prepare any type PPT when I give a lecture. But my lecture will be based on the program and the workshop which I conducted and 2023 March, and where some of the more than 75 people across India attended. That was the understanding interface between state, society, market, and its dynamics. Interface and dynamics of state, society, and market. Okay. Now I am going to give. First, I will give it, and it would be better. We'll have a more interaction while we discussing, because it is more interactive, is more interesting. So you can, when I ask, you can respond. Fine. Therefore, we will have a more meaningful discussion for another 45 minutes. So, first and foremost, question which comes to my mind is, what is state? Anyone? Hello? Because you are all certainly from different discipline, doing different courses. I know, but this is the common. Everyone should know. And what is the state? Why need a state? Whether society can live without state, or in an individual or society can live without state. State, and what is society? How society evolved, and what for the society exists, and what is the logic of the society, and what is the logic of the state. Similarly, what is the market? How market came into our midst? What is the logic of the market? Whether the market, whether the state, society, market stand as static forever, or it has its own dynamics. How all these three important institutions or organizations interface and dynamics, and it's a dynamic. So, anyone, what is the state? How do you understand the state?
Akash, you are from Delhi University. You tell something about the state. What is the state? No, how you understand the state? He is asking. Akash, you are from Delhi University. You could say something.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah,
So, in my understanding, state is a political entity which help to govern the people with a particular mode of operandi's which they have, and around which they can provide
mm,
some kind of a protection, and also to try to make a society work properly. That's a brief understanding what I have related to the state.
exactly, exactly. So, a state is a fundamental political unit which takes care of everyday affairs of the society, and state is a unit of a political institution takes care of protecting its own citizen. State is the institution which takes care of both in terms of regulating the life and the regulating the affairs involved among the society. That means state regulates the market. Without state, because the Marxist perspective of state, generally state is the instrument of uh, bourgeoisie or instrument of the exploitation, a capitalist or the ruling class. State is the instrument of exploitation for the ruling class. Therefore, the state should be wither away. State should be wither away by violence, by bloody violence, because state involved exercise the coercive power against the people, particularly have-nots, the working class. This is the understanding which are generally given, understand by the Marxists. But state is a necessary evil. Liberal and the classical political thinkers would say state is a necessary evil, though it is a bad. State, of course, has a power, coercive power. State has a unlimited power to exercise over other people. But however, it is required. Can we live without state? Suppose without rules and regulation. For imagine for hour or 2 hours in the city like Delhi or Bangalore or Calcutta or Chennai or even Mumbai without traffic police, without traffic signals, without traffic, no rules and regulation on the road. What will happen? Because the options of the state, what will happen? It will
Chaos, sir,
happen
chaos.
chaos, chaos, violence, kill each other, all kinds of things will happen. Quarrel, fight, and bloody hit each other and all this thing and completely mess. So we don't have a organized way of life. So state exists for a sake of life. State exists for a sake of life and continue to exist for a sake of good life. Okay. So without state, only God and beast can live without state. Human being, our society, civilized society, cannot live without state. State is an organized political unit, as I said. Similarly, Babasaheb Ambedkar was seriously engaging and seriously understood the nuance of the state, and the state is a hope for the marginalized, not only marginalized, state is a hope for the development, transformation, and the progress. So, therefore, what Babasaheb Ambedkar conceived and advised on what is state means, state is a democratic, democratic instrument of, sorry, state is a the democratic instrument for socio-economic transformation. Without state, the the economic, political, and democratic transformation is not possible. Why Babasaheb Ambedkar so much trust on the state? because most of the people was even some extent Marxist and liberal uh, uh, political thinkers, they consider state as a very distant state as differently. But Babasaheb Ambedkar keep on trusting and entrusting upon the state. The state is the instrument for a democratic social transformation. Because in particularly in India, the society was completely civilized. In India, also exists for a organized better life. Because otherwise, without organized society, without organized, what will happen? Because institution of religion, institution of marriage, institution of family, all these things if that not exist, then what will happen? There is no morality. There is no organized way of life, and there is no control over people. So therefore, the society is a organized social unit to take care of the civilized life, organized and civilized life. And the state and because state exists for the society and society exists for the state. Therefore, the state, the role of fundamental role of state is to regulate the society, and these are the rules and regulations. Because options of the state, how many of you aware of social contract? Because if the theory of state goes on very long, but I'm not going to go into that. One should know the social contract. That political thought, Hobbes, John Locke, and Hobbes, Locke, and Rousseau, J. Rousseau. So these three people imagined how the state could be came into our midst, and how the options of state life could be. And they have assumed and imagined and the way their own way of time and space. Because our thought process, our thinking process, our attitude, behavior, and learning all get influenced by the time we live, during the time what are the incidents that happen, and also whom we associated with, and what is our socio-economic environment, and where our style read in, and this all get influenced. Okay. Similarly, Hobbes, Locke, Rousseau, they have lived in a three different historic juncture, historic period. And first and foremost, Hobbes said absence of state or the state of nature, because you call it as a state of nature. State of nature or absence of the state, its life will be brutal, nasty, and barbaric. As you said, no, if the time, if the 1 hour, 2 hours, the traffic was the traffic signals, traffic police, traffic rules are not there, what will happen on the road? Nasty, barbaric, and brutal. Kill each other, beat each other. Might is the right, and all these things. Finally, nothing will happen. Finally, nobody will live in a peaceful. Nobody will have any order. So that is why Hobbes call it a state of nature or absence of the state is a nasty, brutal, barbaric. Okay. So any given situation is never been allowed to continue or never been long time continued like that. Where we have been ruled many dynasties and many foreigners and this thing, but to change the dynamics happen. People who fighting each other, people who have in the absence of rules and regulation, absence of state, people are fighting each other. Finally, no, 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 no. This is should not be continued. We should come to a agreement. Let's end this chaos. We just end this violence. We just we just end this violence. So people themselves come and said, okay, we will surrender our complete free, our own self and interest to the individual, a monarch, to govern us. So that is why Hobbes advocated the govern king or a queen, a individual, the political power, the governing power and ruling authority is interest upon single individual, and that single individual govern the entire society, and whatever the despotic rule, they call it as a despotic, whatever he or she pronounce, the king or queen pronounce, that become a rules, that become a law, and that become a order. One has to completely obey, and they themselves, that is individual themselves, come to an agreement, that is called social contract. Why Hobbes is so much of negative, so much of trust on individual or particular powers with the monarchical authority? Because in that time in England, in Europe, there was a completely chaos, no control, and everybody might is a right. And he lived in the historic period where the situation is ultimately the chaos. Therefore, he was advocating a monarchical monarch governance. So, and then the next person who came after 30 or 50 years later, Locke, John Locke came. John Locke also thinking in a way that state of nature is not what Hobbes was saying. State of nature was a very nice, though there is no rules and regulations. But imagine in a tribal society in somewhere without any uh, cell phone, without any electricity, without any disturbance, and they live in a sufficient life without any disturbance. Okay, without all our intervention, no government, no official, and they live in a peaceful life. As long as the self-reliance, self-sufficient resource, natural resource are available, are sustained. So once there is a deficit on this resources, then again there is a crisis. And the crisis came, but the state of nature is peaceful because according to law, state of nature is peaceful, sustained, and mutual. If at all any disagreement, if at all any quarrel between individual or quarrel between two community, society, or between two individual, this will be resolved through mutual dialogue, negotiation, no violence. So Locke advocates that okay, fine. And in order to govern the society, in order to govern the crisis, and in order to maintain everyday affairs of the state and market, what the require? He said aristocracy, rule of aristocracy, group of people should rule to govern, not the individual. And again, he said right to life, individual freedom, individual self-respect, right to life should not be given to the power, political power. It will be remain an individual. But rest of the things, I the state is entitled to govern. entitled make a rule, entitled to regulate. But the right to life, individual right to life as state has nothing to do with. Because as ultimately sovereign the power of an individual. The political power have no right to interfere or regulate on individual's life, right to life. This is a very fundamental. So, because he says during his historical living period, when he was lived, that time the Europe, because both are England, John Locke and Pope Hobbes, both have lived in England in a different historical time. The third person is come from France, is emerged from France, so J. Rousseau, Jacques Jean Rousseau. And this is the very fundamental. Our entire life was this is the way he is challenged, okay, is organized. One of the very pioneer in the social contract theory and political thinking. And he was the father of French Revolution. Rousseau is the father of French Revolution. All this thing you might know and you might have read. So Rousseau thought the state of nature, absence of the state is a noble savage. Absence of because both similar to Locke, John Locke, and much more because he says John Locke was said only peaceful coexistence mutual, but J. Rousseau said without state, without political authority, without political power, without sovereign political power, regulating rules and regulation, nothing. In absence of rules and regulation, political power, the people lived in a very peaceful, noble savage, brilliant. But this noble condition and situation of noble savage cannot be continued forever. It's not continued forever. It came to a certain crisis. The crisis started. The first and ever crisis started when individual said, "This piece of land belongs to me." That means private property. The day when the concept of private property came into our midst, came into our thinking, then the crisis started. She's my wife. She's my house. This is my house. This is my land. My this piece of land is belongs to me. When the crisis started, and the crisis we need to regulate, and crisis need to uh, resolve. Then the people themselves organized themselves, came together and agreed upon that we will give our right to the sovereign power, political power, authority, and it is not an individual or it is not ruled by group, but it should be ruled by us, by the people, for the people, of the people. Democracy, first and ever, the idea of governing themselves. We will entrust the power to the people, or we will govern ourselves how? General will, direct democracy. We will make a rules and regulation, and accordingly we obey the rules and regulation. Those who are violate those rules and regulation made by us, made themselves, and they are also punishable. And what are the way in which, according to the violation, according to the kind of violation one commits, but never ever surrender self, right to life, and right to property. It's all under individual. The state only to govern and regulate the society's day-to-day affairs and activities, and the market, because day-to-day activity market. I will come to the market. So similarly, this democracy become the major major concept and also important uh, important uh, political authority to to govern the society, and that institution because democracy has become a more popular then, and that is where that time he lived in French in a very difficult situation where the revolution was in this his social contract book was a major work which culminated the French Revolution in 1700 1700 something. I don't know exact date of French. Anyone remember the French Revolution? 18 sorry 1752. Am I right?
1789,
1789.
sir.
1718, yes, exactly. French Revolution. That what are the motto of French Revolution? Liberty,
Yes,
equality,
sir.
Liberty,
fraternity.
equality, fraternity, sir. It is stated
Generally,
in language.
yeah, generally people will refer Babasaheb Ambedkar is borrowed from liberty, equality, fraternity from French Revolution, but not so. Babasaheb Ambedkar taken this three concept from our Buddhist tradition and Buddhist way of living. Buddhism is how many of you read Professor Kanchayalla's book? Mostly Kanchayalla book popular on why I'm not a Hindu or a Buffalo nationalism and all this because those are polemic. Those are very, very polemic and it is a popular and to some extent it's a rhetoric as well. But one of the classic work book which Professor Kanchayalla wrote is Buddha, a god as a political philosopher. This is his PhD thesis. This book is outcome of his PhD thesis. So one of the classical work. Please read Buddha, God as a political philosopher. Buddha is not a god; he's a political philosopher. So that is why Babasaheb Ambedkar taken this concept of liberty, equality, fraternity from the Buddhism and from Buddha. And Buddha also advocated democracy, equality, fraternity, and equality for men and women, equality between all the society, haves and have-nots. Okay, so we need because I'm not going to give all this because society or the way a state organized political unit. In this political unit, society cannot be monogamous. Society, every society has its own character of heterogeneity. How Indian society been called? How Indian society been classified? Anyone?
So Indian society is a heterogeneous society.
Indian say heterogeneous society, multicultural society, and
Yes,
diverse
sir.
society. Multilingual, multi-language, multi-region, and multicultural. So, and this way, when the political authority, the political power to control and govern this multicultural, multi region, multi-religion, multi-caste, multi-class, because generally the European society was classified as a class-based, haves and have-nots, capitalist and the worker, bourgeois and proletariat. It's a binary. But in India, it is not haves and have-nots. It's not a binary. Babasaheb Ambedkar called Indian society are graded. It's a not only multicultural, multi-region, multi-lingual, but it is graded inequality. The more you go down, your condemned is increased. the more in the social ladder, the your honor is increased. Okay, so Indian society was based on the unit. The basic unit of Indian society was a caste. Is a caste. Caste is a fundamental unit for the classification of the society, and also the society was organized, social system was organized, and there are lot of restrictions. This society, particular society, has only this much of rights, and they have no other right. They should not cross their limits. So there is a completely not only unequal graded, but also it is a completely discriminatory, inhuman, uncivil. Therefore, the political power should be more organized, and it involves and regulates each and every aspect of a human existence in the Indian condition. So, though 200 years of the British and the colonial power ruled India, and they have created more chaos to they also added salt in the wound. Okay, and Babasaheb Ambedkar got the opportunity to write the Constitution. The Constitution is the fundamental principle guiding force for our political governance, political economic governance. Constitution nothing but the social contract. Constitution is nothing but the modern social contract. That is why how many of you read, even if you read the preamble, anyone remember the preamble? We, the people of India, solemnly resolved ourselves to the uh, democratic, social, sorry, solemnly resolved ourselves to uh, democratic, social, secular, socialist, democratic republic, right? And we will resolve ourselves to will attain, because I forget the entire. If anyone able to get the preamble, if you get the preamble, Google and read out. Hello,
Anybody is
Google it
having
and read out the
preamble?
preamble.
Yeah.
Yeah, please.
Akash, do you have a preamble? Read out.
This is very important. Unfortunately, what happened in our this is all we have to understand. Until CAA, the proposed by the BJP government, our Indian society, mostly even educational institutions and university teachers and even political leaders, most of the political leaders least bother about knowing, understanding Indian constitution until the CAA came. Immediately people come to the state, see the people of India. Even now, 75-year-old constitution, we are not completely understood and adhere to the Indian constitution, and which is the fundamental and the very essential document principle to govern us for progress, development, and resolving inequality, resolving discrimination in gender, caste, class, and region. All these things, a solution we have in the document called Indian Constitution. Anyone read the preamble? This is very important. Please buy
Akash,
if you all have. if all you have a constitution,
Yeah.
please you
Shashikant,
should buy.
Shashikant, Akash, Dr. Smita, Dr. Kiran,
Yes, sir.
anyone could speak.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
yeah, please
Yes,
read
sir.
out. Yeah, read out the preamble.
We, the people of India, having solemnly resolved the Constitution, constitute India into a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic and secure to all its citizens justice, social, economic, and political, liberty of thoughts, expression, belief, faith, and worship, equality of status and of opportunity, and to promote among them all fraternity, assuring the dignity of the individual and the unity and integrity of the nation. In our Constituent Assembly, this 26th day of November 1949, do humbly adopt, enact, and give it to ourselves this Constitution. Thank you.
Yes, is every word is a golden words. One should first one should have a constitution in our house library. And if you have, please fine. You read at least one page in every day. And this is the way we should. Uh, we will read and understand how the Indian Constitution is very important and is the guiding principle for us. Okay, and you see the in the last that we give ourselves we give ourselves to the Constitution, adopt, adhere, and continue. So we give ourselves. Who create the Constitution? On behalf of you and me, our forefather, our representative, who have be the member of the Constituent Assembly, they represent our your rights and my rights and your individuality, all this thing. That is what Constitution not written by, it's not come for somebody else. Babasaheb Ambedkar wrote the Constitution and gave it to on behalf of us, and they are all signed. If you see the original Constitution, and you will see around 350 people, I suppose. Exact number I don't have. Around 250 or 350 people of the member of Constituent Assembly is signed, and then there is a drafting commission. All these things. Okay, that means the Constitution is, as I said, it is a social contract. Okay, and there is a justice in economy, justice in political, justice in social, and justice in cultural. Because every citizen should attire justice in economy, social, and political, every aspect of the life. Now, how you get justice in economy? What is the major economic institution? Because economic institutions are industry, agriculture, and because nowadays they call it as a primary sector, secondary sector, and the tertiary sector. This is what they say. That is, primary sector is agriculture, secondary sector, tertiary sector is in the industry and this thing, and service sector, tertiary and other sector, service sector is uh, transport, tourism, and so on and so forth, hotel, all these things, business generally. But all these things, market is the institution. All these three, as I said in the beginning, state exists for regulating society and market. Market exists for providing adequate supply of goods and services, and the society for the society, and for which state regulates the both. State regulates the society and market. So, what is the today's? How do you describe today's economy system? Today's what kind of economic system we have today? Anyone? Guess. No
Sir,
problem. Here, ah,
yeah, today we India have this mixed economic system, but continuously focusing on the private economy, and they are trying to move from the public sector to private sector.
Okay. Right. But ever before, the today our economic system is a market centric financial capital economy. Not much of production, not much of regulation. The state become almost facilitator of the market. It's not a regulate, it facilitates of the market service and this goods and service. It's not regulate. But Babasaheb Ambedkar wanted the state should regulate. It should not be allowed to function of its own. Unregulated market means unregulated. We are allowing the market to loot the society, and therefore discrimination, denial, and lack of opportunity, and the rich become richer, poor become poor. Therefore, what happened in 1990? Because the Indian economy, and when in the independence came, we have adopted a mixed economy. We have adopted a mixed economy that we should have a public sector. At the same time, we should also have a private sector. But the private sector and public sector both are regulated by the state rules and regulation. I will please, if you have a pen and note down, this is important documentary film. You must watch. Commanding Height. It's a BBC documentary, almost 1.5 hour or 2 hour. One of the brilliant documentary to understand the economy, political economy. Commanding Height and Battle of Idea. BBC documentary. If you Google, it will get it. It's available. Please watch it. Those who are in MA, MPhil, PhD, and it will help. And those who are teaching in the college or university, please try to screen or ask your student to watch at least once, because this is how liberal and neoliberal political economy ruled the roost in the last 75 years or 100 years. Okay, almost international reputed economists all over the world have responded and interviewed, and they have come with a lot of this thing. So, what is the distinction between liberal political economy and neoliberal political economy? A liberal political economy, the state should exist and states should regulate, and the people should have a uh, right to have a choice, and people should the state should have a various the market should provide, the market should be regulated, and market should provide equal opportunity. Do our markets as a equal opportunity? How many of downtrodden or scheduled caste and scheduled tribe people are in the stock exchange? Investment in the stock exchange, investment in the business enterprises, and how many of you have a market? You are holding a market in whether market or the stock market or any other market. So Indian market is completely caste-based. Therefore, Ambedkar wants the market should be regulated, should be comes under the purview of the state. This was initially it was done because anyone cannot start a business just like that. They should explain what is the purpose of the state, how you are going to employ, who are all your employment, what are the salary, what is the social security, and all these things should be given, because the workers should be given social security. Workers should be given the 8 hour working hour. Workers should give adequate rest. Workers should have the living, decent living. Workers should have a fair salary or a fair wage. There should not be exploitation. And the medical, education, children's education, all these things are encompassed in the regulated market economy. In unregulated market economy, hire and fire, no fair wages, no social security, no protection, the employment protection, because no stipulated, because now one is employed up to 60 years or 65 years, he is being continuously allowed to work. And if at all any calamity or any personal medical emergency medical care require, the employers should take care of the employees. Do it, all these things exist, and there is a rules and regulation for market. But generally, we might concentrate on state and society, because society we have more engagement, understanding. But the market, particularly Dalit, scheduled caste and scheduled tribe society, are not able to understand the logic of the market. Logic of the market is a profit. Logic of the state is to cut size the profit and distribute the fairly to the society. Logic of the society to have a fair life, civilized life, undiscriminated, unequal, fair wage, fair life, equal opportunity, decent living. This is a logic. That logic of market is a profit. But that profit should be equal opportunity, equality should be given. Market access, because everyone allowed to have a access to the market. Do Indian market as a equal opportunity? No. And today in the finance capital, we have completely lost out, as somebody said, we have a privatized economy. From public sector and mixed economy to we move on to the completely privatized economy, and the state is unregulated, allowed to unregulate. People call 1990 the process of this thing economic reform. This is not economic reform. That was a deregularization of economic system. What was happened in 1990s onward? Deregularization of our economy. Anybody who have money, whether foreign or Indian national, they can do what they want. They don't need to follow the rules and regulations. Labor law was diluted. Social security was completely taken away. Public employment opportunities were sinking. Public institution was closed down. Public sector opportunity was completely gone. And the private economy is ruling the rose. For instance, what happened yesterday, day before yesterday, 12th, in Gujarat, the 787 aircraft, the Dreamline aircraft. Okay, Dreamline aircraft, Air India is now under the Tata. It is a privatized. Okay, now Indian state has no air service. Because earlier there was Air India and Indian Airlines, then combined together Air India only. But now they sold out. India has no public airline service for the people. It's only private. Okay. The Dreamline flight was purchased by around 10 or 15 flight was purchased in during Congress, UPA government. After 3-4 months, all the flight of a Dreamline had difficulty, defect, and they are completely discarded those flights. And we don't know how this Dreamline has come to operation now. I had personally traveled Chennai to Delhi 2-3 times in the Dreamline, and a huge aircraft, highly technical, and your seats are arranged like not straight but slide, and the window shutter was there, was not there because in the Dreamline you touch the glass, it become dark. Again you touch the glass, it become clean white. So like that, very highly technological, technical screen and also very nice flight. But there are defect in the engine, defect in the manufacturing. Manufacturing defect was identified, and the UPA government was discarded all the flights. Now it is $1 million question. Now this Dreamline again come into operation. Who allowed? How they allowed? No, because the rules and regulation was not adhere. Public sector means it because it become a bird word, because public opinion was created. Ruling class and in the dominant caste and dominant section of the people created the myth that public sector, public education, public employment all are bad. Only private will give everything. So that kind of things have come because I can go on narrating. Finally, I will because we'll have an interaction, question and answer. Babasaheb Ambedkar said the state is a democratic instrument for socio-economic transformation, and it's not an instrument of only instrument of ruling class. State has to be there because state is the only hope for the marginalized society, and they can get benefit because if state rules and regulation are adhere, the beneficiary is a larger society, particularly the protection for the marginalized community and the people who need the support. One. Second, the social organization cost need to be uh, dismantled because cost should not be the unit of classifying the society, but rather there is some new ways and means the society should be classified or society should be categorized, and therefore cost is a exploitative institution, social institution, discriminative social institution. Caste is a patriarchic because caste is Babasaheb Ambedkar said is the two sides of the same coin, patriarchy and the discrimination, untouchability. That is a major chunk of the caste, major trust of the caste system. Therefore, one has to dismantle the caste means demolish the patriarchy, possible Brahminical patriarchy, and demolish the untouchability and discrimination. And third, the market should not be allowed to function without rules and regulations. Market should be regulated. Rules and regulations are must follow, and it should not be allowed to come and cakewalk, free walk. Finally, I will give the danger of free market, danger of this thing is if you, how many of you understand economic special economic zone? Special economic zone was the rules was the bill was introduced in 2005 in the parliament. You know the crux of the act, Special Economic Zone Act 2005. Either multinational companies or national Indian national capitalist can purchase the 5,000 acre minimum or maximum, and they can establish their production unit, whatever, car, fridge, washing machine, tire, and cell phone, TV, all this, whatever you want to establish, they establish. Fine. Then you have no trade union, no working class association. There should not be any workers association. And there should not be labor law should not be applicable in the special economic zone. So it is almost like a separate state within the state. So our economy was looted without unregulated rules and regulation, and discrimination is followed. No fair wages, no fair recruitment, no equality of opportunity in private sector, and so on and so forth. And therefore we have to bring back the system, and because that is what in order to survive a democracy, or in order to understand the good democracy means, Babasaheb Ambedkar 5 warning is given, but first and foremost warning is there should not be any grave economic inequality. There should not be any grave economic inequality. If any grave economic inequality means, democracy cannot be survived. The state cannot be continued as it is. So there are another 4. Due to time, I will stop here, and I will happy to answer. Thank you for your patient hearing.
Thank you, sir, for insightful lecture. Please give him a big hand.
It's all right.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Now the forum is open for question answer
So much
session.
of people, so much of hands are
Yeah,
there. Yeah, one
yes,
by one.
Akash, before that, I'll give my, comment. After that, we can continue the question answers, then we'll end.
Okay,
Right?
fine.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So thank you, Professor C. Lakshmanan. He is my good friend. We were together in JNU, and we both studied in Madras Christian College, Chennai. He was student of. He did his MA Political Science. I did MA History from Madras Christian College, but we were not knowing each other. And then we studied. MPhil and PhD from JNU. There we come to know each other, and during JNU days, what I observed about my friend Lakshmanan, he was a very nice gentleman, good at heart, helping nature. More than that, very vocal. He was very, very vocal. There were many students from Tamil Nadu. Among them, of my own group, my own batch of students. He was very, very vocal among all of us, and very straightforward and direct. And I really appreciate Professor Lakshman, his the way he handled the situations also. So we did a kind of student political new experiment, and he was with us. He had plenty of ideas to share with many. We did it during our student days. We really enriched with contributing each other to our ideas, and we were very vocal and very social, highly social, and we worked together. We did a good networking
UDS,
also
we
during
are
the
together.
JNU period. Yeah,
Kennedy.
I'm really glad that
UDS.
Professor Lakshmanan. Yeah, 1 minute. I'm really glad that
Yeah.
Professor Lakshmanan he accepted my invitation of delivering a lecture for this Karunyakara Institute of Dalit Knowledge, which is conducting a series of Dalit Knowledge lecture series. The first lecture was it was Professor Chennai. Again, he was a good friend of mine from JNU, and second lecture was by this Professor Aloni, again JNU guy. Chennai from Andhra Pradesh, and Aloni from Maharashtra, and now Professor Lakshman from Tamil Nadu. So various different backgrounds from carrying different experiences. We were there in JNU. We really thankful to JNU that it provided us an opportunity to come together from different states, different backgrounds, and to carry that legacy of experiences, exposures from different states, and converging into a stream in JNU. Again, we had different orientations throughout our life, worked in different institutions. This institution is again bringing back bringing back, converging again those experiences and exposures which we had this 25 years of 20 to 25 years of our academic life in different institutions. I'm really happy that many coordinators are here. KIDK coordinators Akash and Shashikant, Vijay, and and many more. Who is that? Shashikant, Vijay, and Akash. Who is the other one? Vijay, Akash. Shreyat. So there are many. This is what Professor Lakshmanan, our setup. There are many students, my younger students, and they are eagerly waiting, to hear from you. They were actually they are asking when I said that I had a friend, Professor Lakshmanan, and they don't. Many of my students know about you actually. This this guy Akash from Delhi University Research Scholar. He attended your workshop also, some conference. He heard your lecture in Chennai. He came to Chennai, heard you also. So many of my students were insisting that no sir, you give a priority to Lakshman sir. He should be no. We want to hear him. So I'm really thankful, Professor Lakshmanan, you are there.
Thank you.
Students, I really I could know that you are the first person. You are engaging the guys. You are engaging the guys in the lecture. Generally, it's a lecture is a monologue, but you are engaging the participants. That is a good. That's a that kind of lecture. After so many, I think I never heard this thing. It's a very good technique of engaging the scholars. Otherwise, these guys know they may sleep or their minds may be somewhere.
No.
Because your engagement very cautious. The participants are very cautious that to hear you. So it's a fantastic, and I am really glad that you have picked up such a topic. Babasaheb Ambedkar's perspectives on the state, society, and market. It's a wonderful, very much a timely, needed, valuable topic. This is. Most of the people, these basics, they don't understand. We may talk, we may pick up big ideas, but the basic ideas about the state, society, market, these are the three things. Like if you take the state and market as the two eyes, this market and society and market are two eyes. State is a nose. State is a nose which you breathe actually. Breathe and controls both the things. The society and market. This is a fantastic lecture. I hope that Karunyakara Institute of Dalit Knowledge, providing this platform for inviting reputed, highly acclaimed scholars like Professor Lakshmanan, delivering such a wonderful, timely, required topics. I hope and wish that all my students and young research scholars benefited out of this. Thank you once again, Professor Lakshmanan. You have given your valuable time and this wonderful lecture. Thank you. Thank you, Professor Lakshmanan.
Small addition, Kennedy, and because I did not give in my bio note and mention about my involvement. I'm a basically academic activist. The day I joined in JNU, I became an academic activist, and I was. We are both in the United Dalit Student Forum, almost 7-8 years, which created history, and also the earlier speakers, Aloni and Chinnarao, they are also the product of United Dalit Student Forum in JNU, and United Dalit Student Forum achieved many landmark achievements because we have collectively fought 50% for writing UGC net and lecture set, JRF and lecture set eligibility. Earlier it was 55 for uniform, everybody. But in 1990, because 4 5 years we struggled, unrelented struggle, and finally we got the relaxation of 55 lakhs and lakhs of our brothers and sisters are benefiting from such a this thing, and also establishment of so Center for Social Exclusion and Inclusive Policy by Professor Thoret when he was a UGC chairman. The seed was founded by UDSF. UDSF JNU was started this idea, and also Rajiv Gandhi Fellowship was created because of the UDSF intervention. There are several achievements, and also when till 1990, 25 years of JNU existence, only 4 or 5 professors from scheduled caste and scheduled tribe. But today, more than 160 SC/ST professors, faculties are there because of UDSF unrelented struggle. And myself and Kennedy and Mr. Dr. Rana, we three are started Bagujan student friend. Immediately after BSP and ST get into power in UP, we have started a student wing of Bagujan's student friend. But sometimes we had a difference and it is completely closed down. But later they started because we had a very intimate association with myself and Professor Karunyakara. Thank you. This is additional information. Thank you. Now I welcome the question. Please.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. So now this forum is open for questions. I request all of you who want the questions, please request to ask to the professor. Do anyone have a question? I'll ask now. Okay, Kiran.
Am I audible?
Yeah, audible, audible.
Jatin sir. Sir, your lecture is very wonderful and fantastic, sir, and very useful for academician and society. I am Dr. Kiran Kumre Adivasi. I am an assistant professor in Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Sidhu Kanun Dalit एवं जनजाति अध्ययन केंद्र महात्मा गांधी अंतर्राष्ट्रीय हिंदी विश्वविद्यालय. Sir, I don't think Babasaheb Ambedkar opposed capitalism, though in one of his speeches he talked against capitalism. I think Ambedkar was against crony capitalism. He believed in the mixed economy. What is your take on this? And my other question is, do you agree with the view that Dalits should adopt capitalism as a means of economic empowerment like blacks of America?
Okay, I'll answer. I did not say that Babasaheb Ambedkar was against the capitalism. I didn't. I said Babasaheb advocated mixed economy, public sector and private sector combined, and the private sector must be regulated. Both public sector and private sector regulated. Unregulated private sector create a discrimination. Unregulated private sector deny opportunity. Unregulated private sector allow to loot the resources without without concern to environment, without concern to the people's welfare. Therefore, we should have a capitalism or capitalist mode of production, capitalist economy, but that should be regulated. It should not be unregulated. That's my point. And we should have a capitalist mode of production. Dalit should also engage into private sector, but Babasaheb Ambedkar was the one who started the first public sector of India. That is Damodar Valley Corporation. in Damodar Valley Corporation when he was 1942. He was a Secretary General of a British government. That time the note is coming asking question whether the public sector should be a profit oriented or a no loss no gain. Fine, but Babasaheb Ambedkar replied, no, public sector must be a profit oriented because that profit, public sector profit can be or should be utilized for providing quality, free and fair education, healthcare and other services to the people, larger people. So that is why we should have a both mixed economy, public sector and private sector. This both has to be because public sector anyway is regulated because it's started by the state, controlled by the state, and run by the state. But the private sector is controlled and managed and established by the private. So where there is no rules and regulations adhere to. So the point which Babasaheb Ambedkar say, public sector, private sector also should be regulated. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Another question. I'm thinking Rajesh Moon sir is want to ask a question. Rajesh Moon sir.
Yes. Hello.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sir, I am Dr. Rajesh Moon. My question is based on some different topic. Sir, as in your lecture, society needs the state. State is the necessary for the society.
Yes.
But is the religion is
Your mic is not. Your mic. No, your mic is not audible. Can you speak to the mic?
Okay, sir. Repeatedly, I am asking the question. Now clearly audible.
Yeah, you are audible.
So my question is that society needs the state. State is the necessary part of the society. But is the religion is necessary for the society? Or religion as Dr. Ambedkar gave the Buddhist religion to our society.
Okay.
And the situation is changed totally because after Ambedkar there are the number of vihars in the number of nagars, and the people went to the vihar and make the ceremony prayers also there. But Dr. Ambedkar's dream is to political revolution. He wants the political achievement, political power from the society. For that, there is no struggle in the society along this thing. So I want something on it, focusing on it.
So, if I understood your question correctly, you say that religion, whether religion needed or not, is it? Yeah.
Thank you.
Any other question?
Yeah. Is there any other question? So I have two questions, sir. Vijay, you want to ask a question? Hello?
Yes.
Yeah, please.
Sir, I am Vijay Kumbre, PhD scholar in Dalit and Tribal Studies. I am an Adivasi scholar. Sir, there is a concept called Dalit capitalism. Does capitalism without crony capitalism help the Dalit and Adivasi communities to become financially powerful? Your views, please, sir.
Go ahead. Hello.
Sir, he's asking about the Dalit capitalism and the Adivasi capitalism, and what's your views on it? And the additional point I want to ask it: how the state going to protect, or how to state need to see this Dalit capitalism, so they can that is the capitalism is not a chronic capitalism, uh, kind of a upliftment of Dalits in the economic zone. So this is a question from his side.
Fine, because as I said, that capitalism, whether the tribal capitalism or a Dalit capitalism or capitalism for state, and it has to be regulated. That's it. One. And as I said, that Dalits are not landlords. Land holding of a Dalit household is a very meager. If 25% of the Dalit tribal population, their whole land holding is hardly at 1.5 or 2%, according to census. Not all, and 85% of the Dalit household do not have a piece of land. Okay, and also Dalits are not industrialists, or Dalits are not enterprising, enterprise businessman. Not because they're incompetent, because of the social system and the economic system which are denying the equality of opportunity. The capital, because why Babasaheb Ambedkar established National Financial Corporation for special component plan, or nowadays it's called tribal subplan and scheduled cost subplan, because they have no resource of themselves, and their resource and the labor will be exploited, and also the public sector employment also nowadays is sinking. Therefore, Dalit capitalism, tribal capitalism, essential, and for which the state should support, state should provide, because state collecting a tax, because in earlier it is a direct tax, indirect tax, and direct tax was only 30%, maximum 30%, which is the income tax and sales tax and other general exercise duty and so on and so forth, land tax and house tax and all these things, service tax. But the indirect tax is the the things you purchase. For example, if you buy a 1 kilo of sugar, then the indirect tax goes to 5 paisa or 10 paisa goes to indirect tax, and which is, even if you buy a salt, you are paying tax. Even buy a matchbox, you are buying oil of 250 ml, and you are paying the tax. So which is indirect tax? Indirect tax is the 70%. This 70% tax is not equally, fairly distributed among the sections of the society, which is required to establish a Dalit capitalism and the tribal capitalism. You are taking the resource, because tribal are the protecting or safeguarding the natural resource of mineral, natural resource of various this thing, coal, mine, everything. Today, some foreign company comes and destroying the livelihood, and and displacing them. All these things are unfair and not allowed, should not be allowed. So Dalit capitalism, the concept and the institution has started, but as expected from the state support is not, because whenever the budget was preparing, the other community, the rich and the upper class and ruling class, they lobby, they lobby for tax concession, for loans and other benefits. But as a Dalit community, since we are not in the business, we are not in the industry, we are not in the service sector, we are a landless agriculture worker or a manual laborer, and we are not able to lobby for our economic development. Our politicians, our academicians, our bureaucrats are very limited influence over the getting a fair share from the economy. The state economy comes from our own natural resources. It is not come from somewhere else, not their own pop's property. It's our own money. We have every legitimate right to demand our share in the national income, national resource, natural resources, which are not, we are, because since we are understanding economy is the very minimal, understanding logic of market is very minimal, and we are exposed to capitalist mode of production is limited. Therefore, we need to engage more into understand the capital economy, finance capital economy, market centric economy. All these things we need to engage, and that is why I deliberately took this topic. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Is anyone else who want to ask a question? Hello.
Good afternoon, sir. Hello.
Yeah, please, Chetna. Please ask.
This is Chetna from Bangalore City University. Actually, I am in BAPSA group. Jai Bhim, all of you, first of all. And I'm a PhD scholar from Bangalore City University. I'm doing my research on Dalit women entrepreneurship. I'm a commerce postgraduate, and I've taken my PhD in commerce itself. So, as a
Very good.
social science student. Sir, I'm so happy that the topic was very nice and your the course, whatever you delivered was very interesting, very informative.
Yeah.
I must be thankful to both the people who are here, Lakshmanan sir and the other sir who is here, and one more person who has added to the BAPSA group. It may be Rupak, who's there in that group. I should be thankful to that person because he has added, and I am getting along with all these people who are very much knowledgeable. And when it comes to my PhD, sir, the thing is, there are very less people in Dalit business. I was just
Yeah.
going through review of literature. I just came to know only few business people. That is Ashok Khade, Kalpana Saroj, Malki Chand, Savita Ben Parmar, Bhagwan Gawai. And if we see their stories, it is really very horrible. And they have struggled a lot to come to this level. Maybe I have noted some 50 to 60 Dalit entrepreneurs from all over the India. So these people have struggled a lot. But as the schemes are booming nowadays, the government is giving many schemes and other things. The people are not coming forward. The startups are not the startups are less, and the people are not coming forward to take up the business. So, what may be the reason here? What would you quote? The reason is the exact reason for this, and how we have to come forward. And yeah, studied all these theories, I can make out that there are. You also gave some examples and answer in the previous question. Along with that, can you please elaborate some of the points?
Okay,
Thank
the
you.
fundamental reason for the Dalits are not coming forward to engage business or become an entrepreneur or startup opportunities, taking up the startup opportunity, because uh, we have not we have not uh, mm, seriously engage in economic activities or economic mode. Okay, how many of us understand Babasaheb Ambedkar's economic thought? Professor, the former Vice Chancellor Pune University and the Governor, Deputy Governor of RBI, Yadav, uh, Narendra Yadav. Narendra Yadav wrote
Narendra.
Ambedkar. Because Narendra Yadav and Professor Thorat, many have written Ambedkar thought on economy. So Ambedkar was, uh, we, Babasaheb Ambedkar was understand understand Professor Ambedkar in a differently only economy except economy only political representation, social discrimination, and untouchability and patriarchy. These are but economic act. Ambedkar is advised people should give a more trust on economic activity, economic thinking, how to build economic enterprises, how to become an entrepreneur. But in the past, there are, because it is not that the Dalits are incompetent in economy. There are in the past Dalit millionaire, Dalit businessman, Dalit, because in Tamil Nadu, Maduram Pillai, who was the first man in India who have a private ship, who had a business all over the northeast, uh, Ceylon, Indonesia, Malaysia, Singapore, and all over, and who was a grandfather, who was a grandfather of Meenambal Sivarajan. Meenambal Sivarajan was the Ambedkar's foster sister, and so there are positive in the history, positive economic history was there, which we are not engaging those, bringing those history to our people, and that is where we should give a more and more weightage to economic thinking, economic orientation. If you read Dalit Capital and this Amit Prakash and Barbara Harris, and also if you read the Grammar of Cost, Ashwini Deshpande, I don't know how many of you read. Please, if you are not, refer these two important books, Barbara Harris and Amit Prakash, Dalit Capitalism. This is wonderful, and also Ashwini Deshpande's work on grammar of cost. The grammar of cost, Ashwini Deshpande completely engage what is the Dalit and economy, how Dalits are discriminated, and even latest work by 2018, David Mose. David Mose's modernity of cost and the market economy. Modern Asian Survey. It's a journal, and this is the classic work on Dalit and economy. Because our academicians, our politicians are always go by something which are very easy, or something which are completely political or social. Economic aspect was very, very less. This is the fundamental reason I believe we have to train our youth, we have to orient our youth, we have to give a more and more confidence to the youth for engaging and competing with the private economy and become an entrepreneur, become a startup, and so on and so forth. I think I answer your question. And the three reference which I gave, one David Moses modernity, cost and market economy, Asian modern Asian survey 2018, and other one is the grammar of cost, Ashwini Deshpande. It is 2010, I suppose. It's a book. It's a brilliant book. And third one I gave is which one? I would myself prefer. Asim Prakash and Barbara White. Barbara White. They
Modern nations.
yeah, capitalism, Dalit capitalism. So these three, if you read, you will get a more and more nuanced detail how the society and the state was discriminatory towards Dalit economic development. It's in paper. Subplan is in paper and all this thing, but it is not come into the force, come into practice. That is it. If you
Fine,
read
sir.
this
Thank you
three
so much.
articles, yeah.
Yes.
I just want to add because what the question Chetna asked. Actually, I also did my MA dissertation and MPhil thesis on Dikki Dalit Indian Chamber of Commerce, and still I am continuing in touch with of the Dalit entrepreneurs. So their experiences are little Sir, what sir said is very well said about the part of the how Dalits youths are not entering in the businesses because of the mindset. But some of the Dalits are who are interested in businesses, and I just quote about the only about the Maharashtra, because they are have little economy on their hands and they are more affluent than most of the country, other Dalits, and they are entering in the businesses. But the how the system and the dominant institutions are not allowing them to enter. So
Yes.
I talked with this Chandrakan Prasad sir, and also with Milind Kamble. I took his interview. So during the interviews, I given an example. 5,000 tankers are allotted, are reserved by the government for scheduled caste and scheduled tribe, and this tankers is going to help giving to the scheduled caste and scheduled tribe, and the petrol companies just like Indian Oil and Bharat Petroleum are going to help them to fill the tankers, and then they are going to give us supplies to the other petrol pumps. So there is a huge monopoly of business lobbies. They have already tankers, so they are not allowing them to enter in such kind of businesses. And because of that, the tankers which is allotted to the Dalit people and the Dalits and tribals, they are not giving that much. They are not getting that much businesses from the company. So because of that, their tankers are become a burden on their own self, and after a few time, that tanker was seized by the bank, because the stay
Yeah.
because there was also one scheme launched by with the initiative of Milind Kamble and Dicky Startup India. In that, the all the banks of nationalized banks are going to help Dalits and one woman and one SC or ST, to buy such kind to start a business. So when I talked with a few of the people and Dalits, they said that most of the banks are not allow us. They are not supporting us. Though it was a government initiative, though it was proposed by the government and forced by the forced by the ministry to the banks that you have to give the scheduled caste and women's. Then also they are rejecting. So in the then the after the intervention of
Yeah,
Dick,
the
sir,
fundamentally the patronage, state patronage and social acceptance, the societal acceptance for economic development of Dalit is said. This is not only the Dalit youth mindsets are not willing to start. They are willing to start, but the state patronage was lacking, and accept societal acceptance was very rigid because they are not able to see a Dalit as a businessman, Dalit as an entrepreneur, industrialist, and despite there are positive those positives, those success stories which Chandraban and Prasad and others they brought in, but now that also they are not highlighted now. After some time, it is completely silent. What happened to Dicky is the silent. Fine. So fundamentally, state patronage and the societal attitude in terms of accepting as equal, that is the more important, and is the need of our youth should be engaged and able to make a inroad, cut the ice. It's nothing can come in easy. You have to struggle and break the ice. That's it. Thank you. And I think it's almost 1:30. Is there any other question?
actually, the question is from my side. I have two questions.
Okay, this is
So
the last one.
yeah,
This is
yes.
the last one. Yeah.
So I have two questions.
Oh, there is a one more also, one more than one. Someone also raised the hand. Suhas. So you need
So
to take three questions still.
So
Very
then
quick.
together I'll take it.
Yeah,
Together
yeah.
I take the three.
yeah. So the question is like that, sir. You said that market should be regulated by the state. But if the state, as you given an example of SAGE, special economic zones, which is with the bill was passed in 2005, if the state is interpreting and forcing such kind of a laws which is not going to regulate it by itself, so how this society should see such kind of what can I say, such kind of a bills which is not regulated by state and which is very discriminative for labor and the person who are going to work on it. So this is my
Yeah.
first question, and the second
Okay.
question is,
Second.
you are starting.
Uh,
when you start the lecture, you said about the state governance and you also point out how the tribal society is going on and how the tribal society is governance is. So I am little where when I was doing my research in tribal community, I see most of the state facility or the state rules are not that much reach to the tribal societies, but then also their way of governance is more prominent and more successful, because they have such kind of continuous rituals which are proper distribution to the all the peoples, and the justice form and the hierarchy is very negligible, and the working pattern of women and men's are equal. So such kind of
Okay,
things.
fine, fine.
So
Okay,
these two
fine.
questions
Next,
from my
the
side.
two questions. Okay, and a third one.
Third one is from
Other.
Suhas. Suhas.
Yeah. So am I audible?
Yeah, yeah, you're audible.
Yeah. So very good morning to everyone. And Lakshmanan sir, your lecture was really insightful. Like we have all the basic fundamental uh, concepts is very clear from your lecture. I am so thankful to attend this. So sir, basically I just have a simple like I'll go into the brief of my question because of the time constraint. I just want to ask about the caste census, which is ongoing in the discussion. Will it be a
Okay,
political? Will it be a powerful
I got your
political
question.
discourse,
Fine,
or will
fine.
it
I
be
got it. Yeah, yeah.
motivational? So
I will
I
answer.
have
I will answer.
concern about it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I will answer. I will answer. Maybe we can have a separate lecture on cost census debate and discourse. Okay. Let me first begin with first question: special economic zone and lack of state intervention. So you would be surprised. The bill was passed not even within 5 minutes, without even 5 minutes of discussion. The bill was tabled and passed unanimously, including the left parties are silent in 2005. The entire resource for because 15 years tax holiday for the multinational corporations, whoever established the special economic zone, no tax, and water, labor, everything is available. So after 15 years, the Nokia company, the Chennai, started 15 years, they gave a yellow notice, and lockdown they went and established in Gujarat. This is what the state patronage was given to multinational corporations and major capitalists and the upper caste. So their kind of patronage was not given to Dalits. Therefore, the state intervention, state regulation should be impartial. That is what Ambedkar said. The constitution is a guiding principle. Adherence to the constitution is a must. Okay. And tribal economy, of course, tribal economy, different this thing. And either we are allow them to live in peace, nor we are providing any meaningful, fair support to their livelihood. We are trying to exploit their the protected natural resources for our own purpose. And the mainstream, so-called mainstreaming, all these things are very, very difficult. The third question on census, I am against because first of all, we should not call this as a caste census. We should call as a OBC enumeration. The history of this debate started in 1991 when Mandal Commission recommendation was implemented. The Supreme Court questioned, you cannot make a policy based on 1931 census. After 1931, there was no caste census conducted. But the scheduled caste and scheduled tribe the details, meticulous detail was carried out till 2011 because 2021 was due to Corona lockdown, they are not conducted. So The details on a scheduled caste, scheduled tribe is already available. My meticulous details are available. 25% of the population detail available. Whether the state to 75 years done what to these communities? Nil. Fine. And this is the OBC enumeration, and which will be. It is not a lack of data that states are not able to address the problem. It is because the political will and because of the Brahminical mindset, we are not ready to resolve the fundamental issue of discrimination on based on caste, discrimination based on gender, and discrimination based on regions. This is the fundamental for which the political will is required. I am against the caste census. Okay, indeed, the first person who agreed to carry out the OBC enumeration or caste census is none other than L.K. Advani in 1998, and he gave a promise that 2001 census will be carried out as a caste census, or OBC enumeration, but which has not done. Most of the left, right, center, all are against them. And after 2001, and all of a sudden OBC lobby was heavy, and they demanded the Congress party to conduct 2011 census would be OBC enumeration or caste census, and which Congress promised in the parliament, but it is not conducted. Rather, it is given separately to Rural Development Ministry, and which conducted socio-economic survey of caste, and which is not even released. But I was called to Delhi for a two consultant meeting for this purpose. I was absolutely against carrying out the calling as a caste census. You have all the detail, not just census alone. Even census SC/ST details are available. Okay, so this is a very ruling class technique and ruling class ploy, and I don't think the carrying out the caste census will resolve the our basic fundamental problem of caste discrimination and gender discrimination. Thank you. And it is too.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, it is too late. Almost 1:45.
Thank you,
Okay.
sir. Thank you.
Yeah.
With the
Yeah.
permission of our chair, I request Shashikant, coordinator of KIDK, to give vote of thanks.
Thank you. With permission of the chair, first of all, I appreciate the conviction of all the participants towards Ambedkarite studies and its mission. And a very humble and respectful thanks to our key speaker today, Professor C. Lakshmanan, sir, for his wonderful lecture on the theme Babasaheb Ambedkar's perspective on the state, society, and market, in which he emphasized on various elements like need of a state, logic of the state, protection of its citizen, Marxian view of state, Ambedkar's trust on the state, Buddhism and modern democratic state, Buddha as a political philosopher, graded inequality in India, constitution as a modern social contract, economic justice, market-based economy and regulated economy, commanding heights and battle of idea, citing BBC, a liberal political economy, neoliberal political economy, Dalit and share market, stock exchange, share market and businesses, says at etc. He rightfully stated that state is for the state is for the society, and society is for the state. You can't separate it. They are fundamentally bound together. For Ambedkar, state is a instrument of socio-economic transformation. Once again,
Okay.
thank you, Lakshman sir,
Thank you.
for your
Thank you.
wonderful and valuable, wonderful insight. And I am extremely
you so
happy
much.
to remind you once again that we are Karunyakara Institute of Dalit Knowledge. Our key purpose to harvest and channel the idea of well-being of Ambedkarism and Dalitism for the sake of the betterment of society in India. Along with this, a big applause to Akash Sanjay Khobragade, Shreyat Baud, Vijay Shravan Kumbre for managing these wonderful lecturers. Thank you. Jai Bhim, Jai Bharat.
Yeah,
Thank you,
Jabin,
Srikanth.
thank you very much for
Yeah.
wonderful. We will continue our conversation in future.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you, Professor
Thank you.
Lakshmanan. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Thank you.
Take care. Take care. Bye bye. Take care. Bye.